Yes, good evening. My name is Reverend Dr. Wallace Gator Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also the president of United Peace, Inc. United Peace, Inc. is presenting the Bradley Report. The issues that you see on this program is with the help of the producer of the Bradley Report, as well as the chairman of United Peace, Inc., and that's Dr. Terry Marsh Bradley. We got some issues that's happening. We're going to see where the president feels that he has the power to send the troops into the blue states because of what he's doing in Washington, D.C. And you're going to see where the governor, J.B. Pritzker, is letting him know you do not have that right nor that power. And the reason he's able to do it in D.C. is because D.C. is not a state. You're going to see the fine work. Some people just think that only men go to the penitentiary. Women get incarcerated too. You're going to see a story where my friend, I've been able to meet her through her husband, talking about MK Pritzker. And how this woman that was incarcerated for murder and was able to change her life around because laws were changed to show that she was really a victim. And MK came to the aid in the name of redemption and humanity. You're going to see what's happening with the mayor, Brandon Johnson. So you're going to hear where I'm praying for Larry Hoover to be free in the name of redemption and humanity. Because I know Governor J.B.'s heart, and I believe he's going to make that decision. So without further ado, let me bring this show to you. Amani, let's go to work.
I'm Terrence Lee.
And I'm Sylvia Perez. The president is enacting a federal takeover of Washington, D.C.'s police force, deploying the National Guard.
Let's bring in political reporter Paris Schutz. And Paris, Trump also hinted today Chicago could be next.
Yeah, Sylvia and Terrence, the president takes on some of his favorite punching bags, the city of Chicago and its political leaders. But can the president unilaterally order the National Guard to come here to Chicago to police the city's streets?
If we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent.
Tough talk from President Trump, but can he legally follow through with threats to deploy the National Guard on Chicago streets to help fight violence? Governor Pritzker says the law is clear. He cannot.
The federal government does not have a right to send soldiers into American cities for the purpose of, well, for any purpose really, but specifically to fight crime, let's say. And that is what he's suggesting that he will do, violate that law.
Federal law states the governor must request the National Guard. D.C. is different because it's not a state. The Guard was last called to assist Chicago police in 2021 after the killing of Adam Toledo. Typically, National Guard personnel protect infrastructure or assist in blocking traffic during large-scale protests or riots. D.C.'s violent crime rate is currently at a 30-year low. Chicago's murder rate is trending 33% lower than a recent peak in 2020. Senator Dick Durbin says for those reasons, the president is purely motivated by politics.
He always mentions Chicago in his litany of cities. What a coincidence that they all happen to be in blue states. That's where he focuses his political attention.
Trump wasted no opportunity to insult Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker as well, who has not ruled out a run for his job in 2028.
We have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker's an incompetent. His family threw him out of the business, and he ran for governor. And now I understand he wants to be president. But I noticed he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance. You know, you never know what happens.
For his part, Pritzker thanked Trump for the, quote, compliment, but says he rejects the criticism.
I reject criticism and don't really want to respond to criticism from Donald Trump, who inherited his money and then went bankrupt 6 times and then defrauded his business partners. And by the way, he cheats at golf.
And late this afternoon, Mayor Johnson weighed in and said, quote, if President Trump wants to help make Chicago safer, he can start by releasing the funds for anti-violence programs that have been critical to our work to drive down crime and violence. Sending the National Guard would only serve to destabilize our city and undermine public safety efforts. And we're going to have much more on this tonight at 9:30, Terrence.
You know,
Paris on Call.
The wonderful thing about what we're seeing that's happening through programs like this and others that's on YouTube, it let the people see what government is. It let the people know what the Constitution is about, behind them seeing how Trump and his MAGA movement is trying to manipulate or erase the constitutional law. But at the end of the day, we as the people got to understand, pay attention to a candidate that's running. Listen to what they're saying, because you can verify the truth in what they're saying. This country got tricked by Trump winning because they wanted change. And the change that they got, including MAGA, they feel bad of the change that they got. So, Sister Marty, let's go to the next story.
Find the heart in every story. And by we mean David Begnaud, who is here with us this morning. Good morning, Boo.
Good to see you. You look great in green.
Thank you.
By the way, FYI.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. This is a story about grace, friendship, and redemption.
These two women have formed an unlikely alliance. The First Lady of Illinois, MK Pritzker, and Willette Benford, who served 24 years in prison.
Is this the first time you're seeing her room?
First time.
Yeah, first time.
This was the room that Benford called home for the first year of her life after prison. Inside of Grace House, a residential program in Chicago that supports women exiting the prison system.
It was the first room that I was in that I could literally walk in and out of, you know, and not have to worry about someone locking me in it.
In 1995, Benford was sentenced to 50 years in prison for first-degree murder. Benford says she was in a violent same-sex relationship, and she tried to flee one night.
I ran and jumped in my car. She jumped on the hood of the car, and I pulled off. Not knowing the area, I turned around and came back up the street, and that's when they said I hit her.
Benford says, and court records reveal, that her attorney advised her to hide the details of the domestic violence because she was in a same-sex relationship, and the attorney feared that might turn off the jury.
None of the domestic violence, the times I had her arrested or the times I went to the hospital, none of that was talked about in court. After I was incarcerated, I got my GED.
In 2016, there was an amendment to an Illinois law that added abuse as a factor to consider its sentencing. Because of that, Willette Benford became eligible for resentencing.
You got credit for time served.
I got credit for time served, and I was released on February 6, 2019. How many women do you think are sitting in prison that didn't get the opportunity that I got?
That's what I'm saying.
I am what it looks like to give someone a fair chance, not a handout, but a hand up.
And that takes us to 2022. Chicago's mayor wanted to brand the city as a place for second chances. So she hired Binford as the city's first director of reentry for people leaving prison reentering society. There, Binford helped to reform background checks for 2,500 city jobs so that some convictions would not disqualify candidates from getting employment. Her record on the job impressed Illinois' First Lady MK Pritzker, who offered Binford a top job as Pritzker's senior advisor on women's issues.
Everybody at some point in their life needs someone who believes in them. I want you to say to me what she means to you.
I look at her as someone that I can trust, someone that is a friend, believes in me, and someone that did not second guess her decision when she hired me.
She brings an intelligence and a vigor to this work that I don't think anybody else could do. I believe in Willette. I think there's good in every person, and there's really a whole lot of good in Willette. We're not a couple.
We're called the Force.
Because we
get stuff done.
We get it done.
And they have got the receipts to show for it.
We worked strategically to support the closure of Logan Correctional Center, which
it's closed?
We're closing it.
We're closing it.
You are closing the former place where you were incarcerated. Wow.
And the reason why is because the living conditions were horrible, and they still are.
Rebuilding a facility that is more therapeutic is very helpful. I think it's helpful to the residents of the facility, and it's also very beneficial to the people that work there. So what are we having here today?
When the First Lady travels with Binford, she does a lot of listening. Some of the stories that she's heard drove her and Binford to launch a pilot program to support 100 women returning home after incarceration. The program offers subsidized housing, job training, and even childcare.
Give people an opportunity to better themselves and get a good paying job rather than spend the money on incarcerating them.
And poverty is a driver of incarceration.
Look, by now you can tell that Pritzker and Binford have a pretty strong heart connection, but they come from completely different worlds.
I landed in the lucky tub, and that's really the only thing that separates Willette and I could be Willette.
MK Pritzker married the billionaire heir of the Hyatt Hotels fortune, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois. Her first official visit as First Lady of Illinois was to a women's prison, and she got an earful there. She left there fired up to fix one particular issue for women and men leaving the prison system.
They couldn't get a state ID when they got out, that it was darn near impossible. They didn't have a birth certificate, they don't have social security cards, you can't open a bank account. I mean, you can't do anything.
So what did you do?
And I went home and I said, JB, can you believe this? And I said, JB, we have to fix this.
And they did. Willette Binford was at MK Pritzker's side when last year Governor Pritzker signed the new law, ensuring that people leaving prison now have at least the dignity of an ID to validate who they are.
The lesson is you just really shouldn't judge people. You need to give people grace. And it's really amazing what two women from two completely different backgrounds can do when they join forces.
Which takes us back to Grace House and that room, still filled with so much emotion.
Inhale courage, that's what I wanted to do, and exhale any kind of fear that I might thought I felt.
It's tough, but is it also rewarding for her to stand here and see it and feel it?
Yeah. So she'll know. She knows. But I think she knows in a different way now.
So it was at Grace House in 2019 when the First Lady...
That's a wonderful thing that MK did for that woman. But that's the spirit of righteousness that was witnessed and displayed to y'all by her, giving an individual a second chance and realizing how the laws have changed. Domestic violence is bogus and is wrong, regardless of who your love mate may be. The one that's engaging in domestic violence is wrong. I want to close out with this. Gator's letting everybody know the power of God. And I pray that he touched J.B. Pritzker's heart and soul. And I'm of the opinion and belief that he will use Governor J.B. Pritzker as a vessel to free Larry Hoover. Amani, let's go to work.
How we could assist and aid Mr. Hoover in transitioning and coming back home. Mm-hmm. Now we're in a space where Trump has just commuted him and he has to come back to Illinois. Now we're facing a situation with Governor Pritzker. Mm-hmm. I know that's your man.
Yeah.
What does his chances look like?
I'll put it this way. And I'm going to keep it simple so your viewing noise can understand it by me being an urban translator.
Yes, sir.
That question was asked from various medias that was coming to me. And I told them this. Mandela had ANC. And they put Mandela and his members from the ANC on an island breaking these rocks, knowing that the sulfur or the fumes of those rocks was meant to kill them.
Exactly.
And yet God let him get free because he had to let the world know he wasn't going to be about the old ANC that was been dealing with the violence and doing all that.
Right.
What was Mandela's wife's name? They scratched their head.
Wow.
And I say, Wendy.
Wendy Mandela.
I say, and Larry. He put it out to the world to know, no longer call me the chairman. Not with the gangster disciple no more, and we talked about that.
Yes, sir.
A year ago.
Yes, sir.
He come out publicly. He was in an institution where he couldn't even say gangs. He couldn't even say, I want to send a message from the institution to tell the gangs, stop the violence.
Exactly.
They say, if you mention gangs or anything about gangs, we gonna make the punishment more.
We don't want to hear nothing about you trying to communicate,
Yet he was able
period.
To lay it out through the court system, his message, and let it be known, because the prosecutors and the judge wanted him to tell the gangs or the people to get out the gangs. And he let them know, I can mention it here, but they won't allow me to mention the word gangs and institution.
Bam.
I'm saying that to say this. That was a wonderful thing that Trump did. People say it should have been done with Barack Obama, where God said it wasn't time for it to happen.
And white folks said it wasn't time.
People said Trump didn't do it the first time. Well, it wasn't right by God for it to happen.
Hello.
Biden didn't do it when it was his turn, but Biden did free Shorty G, gave him a pardon. So it comes back to Trump. He's the president, and he gets it.
Bam.
And he pardoned him. Still by God's mercy.
Amen.
No. I was at the Bud Bitterton Day Parade And I talked with Governor J.B. Pritzker. I marched with him, as a matter of fact, in the parade. Been doing that with him since 2017. And to see the spirit that the people have for him and for Juliana Stratton, who's running to become the next United States Senator, it brought memories to me because I was very instrumental in helping to elect Carol Moseley Braun, the first African American woman to the United States Senate. And I'm hearing the people as JB and Juliana went from side to side during the parade, applauding them because they know that man's heart and his soul and his spirit, because he spent $100 million before he ran for governor to help those that were wrongfully convicted and unjust sentenced. And I told him then he would be the right man to run for governor against Ronna. And the people heard him, and they made a decision, and they elected him governor. This is Reverend Dr. Wallace Gator Bradley, the registered voter.